Focus now, retired U.S. Air Force General Charles Wald, a former Deputy Commander of U.S. European Command. He's also a Distinguished Fellow at the Jewish Institute for National Security of America. General, great to have you today. First of all, this seems really complicated. Simple from our end, can't have a nuclear weapon. But for Iran, they're now sending back maps, and it's like they want to redistrict their area over there and count us out. Are we going to get a deal, do you think?
Well, I hope we get a deal, but I would say this. I think the Iranians talk big, they talk tough, but they're really in no position to do that. I mean, they do threaten some of the transit through the Straits of Hormuz area, but the United States military, in this case, with some of our allies, is in control of the Straits of Hormuz. I think what the president just said is exactly right. I think it's time for us to probably be a little less patient than we've been, and we need to go back and probably have to do a little more kinetic activity militarily. There's still military targets we should go after. But it's almost ludicrous that the Iranians think they can barter with this. And I think Secretary Rubio said the right thing, frankly.
General Wald, can you talk to me about, like, the steps? Would it be an incremental? Would we just go in and hit those targets right away? Because all of the neighbors that we call friends and partners strategically in that region, yeah, I mean, you hear Qatar has sent someone to be part of the negotiations. They lay bare because they're so close to the enemy.
Well, I think we should try to have the GCC, Gulf Cooperation Council states, Kuwait, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Oman, for that matter, participate with us. I'm a little bit distressed that Oman is talking like they're going to have some kind of collaboration with the Iranians on a toll. That's out of the question.
Interesting.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. You don't think that that will happen? Does it make it more difficult for our end to press and get what we want in that deal?
Actually, I think it makes it more clear that we're probably going to have to do some kinetic action go forward. There's no way we're going to have a toll in the Straits of Hormuz. As the Secretary mentioned, that's just out of the question. So and I don't think Oman's really part of that party, but you hear this discussion, it's almost beyond ludicrous. There's no way that's going to happen. The United States Navy will stop that in a heartbeat.
You mentioned Secretary Rubio, and I have a couple of times. He's in Sweden for NATO meetings. Rubio also addressed the criticism of our NATO allies earlier. Let's watch.
The president's views, frankly, disappointment at some of our NATO allies and their response to our operations in the Middle East. They're well documented. That will have to be addressed.
What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was in NATO for a large portion of my career, and as you mentioned, I was the Deputy Commander for the U.S. forces in NATO in my last assignment. I think NATO should be more actively involved particularly in the securing the Straits of Hormuz with us. They're doing a good job for Ukraine. I get that. But I think NATO, we've asked them. I think they should participate, and I agree.
You know, it's interesting. You just brought up Ukraine. And, I mean, we know Russia's going to do what it does. It's always going to ramp up if it thinks the world is not focusing on that particular section, so it can kind of move in. Some of the response from NATO, though, has been to fortify Poland and other areas of Europe that are close to Russia. I read that we are considering sending 5,000 U.S. troops to that area. What do you think about that?
I support it. I support everything we can do for NATO in the Ukraine issue. I think Ukrainian military and government's done a fantastic job of defending itself. I think it's put Russia in a tough spot from the standpoint they were. You know, the saying goes that Russia had the second best military in the world before it invaded Ukraine. Now they have the second best military in Ukraine. That's a truism. It's not just funny. So I think they've identified a weakness in Russia. I think they've shown great courage, and I think we should support them.
General Wald, we'll all be watching together across this holiday weekend to see next steps around the world, but particularly with Iran. Good to have you, sir. Thank you.